Coach, thank you very much for returning to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Um,
Nice to be back.
yeah, it's. I actually wanted to say a quick story. So I have this main podcast where I interview people who became this very famous in the industries, and that's where I originally had you as a guest. Then that episode had so many views, so many downloads that I decided that seems like people really want to hear more about MMA, and this channel started. So you're guilty for this channel. That's what I want to say. With that in place, what I want to chat to you about today is obviously UFC 261. Not sure if you watched it, but it was bananas. And then I wanted to discuss with you your current students, particularly your Dagestani squad, Islam, and the new generation of Nurmagomedovs. We good with that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you watched UFC yesterday?
Yes, I did. I watched them all.
Which fight was the most surprising and was most memorable to you?
Man, there were so many
Yeah.
memorable things happening that day that I think what got me the most was Chris Weidman
Oh man.
pulling at Anderson Silva, on the leg check. That was mind-boggling. Just to watch that first kick, and all of a sudden, just wow, that was unbelievable.
You
That's what stands out the most.
you are the expert in kickboxing, obviously. Why does this happen? Is it the wrong way, wrong kick, or it's such a correct check?
Well, it was a correct check, and Chris's shins, I'm sure, are not really conditioned like a Thai fighter would be. And he also kicked with the lower part of his shin, and he happened to hit right below the knee, which is the hardest shin bone part. That's where Anderson kicked him, and that's where it broke, and that's where the Corey, I believe it was Corey something in the UFC, a big tall kid, that was the first one that happened to wrapped around the guy, and that it happens when you kick that really tough part right below the knee. Is a really strong bone, and he checked perfectly, and Uriah Hall kind of bent into it. So as he bent into it, it was like, think about two trains colliding, but one train is much bigger than the other, and Uriah Hall's train was the heavier train, and that's why that happened.
So it's not really a calf kick, right? Or is it?
Well, he tried for a calf kick, but it just didn't end up being a calf kick because the way Uriah Hall checked it, he bent into it, so it landed on right up in the hard part of the shin.
Interesting. So the previous fight, the fight prior to that, with Anthony Smith and James Crude,
Yeah.
it was slightly different, right? It was, I think, it was a
Yes,
knee kick.
that
What
was
was that?
that was above the knee. That was above the knee. That's an area that you want to strive to hit because that's the area where there's no muscle, and that's where you do the most damage. So if you can land kicks there, usually sometimes one good kick, sometimes two or three good kicks in that same spot, and you're done. And in this particular case, it was one, and as you saw what happened, his leg, he lost all mobility and everything. And I don't know what kind of damage he has, maybe none, but there might be some damage today.
Yeah. Dana,
After they warm down, they probably figure out, oh man, I'm really damaged.
yeah, Dana White said something about his knee. It was some knee issue. So these leg kicks are interesting, and we saw recently how Dustin defeated Connor with this type of, not this type of, but with calf kicks, right?
Right,
Then
calf kick, yeah.
when I'm looking at the similar fight and Khabib had with Justin Gaethje, he also was trying to do the similar stuff, right? Is that correct?
Yes, that I when the fight was first signed, I told Habib he's going to come after your legs. He's going to come after your legs. We need to keep working the leg checks because Habib never leg checked calf kicks or anything like that. Because never had to. Nobody was really ever familiar with him. I wasn't familiar with him, but I said he's going to come after you. Habib says, "Coach, keep talking about this stuff. I'm going to think too much about it." I said, I don't want you to think about it, but I'm going to keep reminding you because that's what he's going to do. I'm looking at all the options of how he's going to be able to beat you, and that's the only way I see possible. I don't see him getting you any other way except the calf kick. And he goes, okay. So we kept working it. And if you watch, there's times Habib ate the kick and there's times he made him miss. And that was what I was hoping that he would be able to make a miss from time to time, and he did, and he executed what he was supposed to do. And Khabib does what he always does. He dominates everybody.
And it was fantastic. And then he retired, and I think it was a surprise for everyone, except, including you, I believe, right? You weren't.
Yeah, correct. I had no idea. He didn't tell me. We still haven't talked about it, and we're not going to talk about it. That's not my business. That's his family business. That's between him and his mother and his immediate family. That I'm the coach. If he wants me there to coach him, I'm there. But no, I have not discussed it with him, and I'm not going to.
Speaking of his immediate family, 3 of his cousins made debuts in major organizations, right? You have Usman, starting in Bellator, Omar and Manap at UFC. I wanted to talk about them for a few minutes to better and to learn about these guys, because public knows about them from Instagram, but they probably don't know their background much. Let's talk about Usman, because he seems to be having very different style than Khabib. Him and Omar, right?
Correct. They're more kickboxing style. They did kickboxing at an early age, and of course they're adapting. With fathers planning the grappling and the whole bit. But they were kickboxers. Khabib was never a kickboxer, so Khabib was always a sambo specialist, wrestling and judo. He never really did striking. But Umar and Usman, yes, they grew up striking when they're little kids. So that's why you see the difference.
They didn't join Abdulmanap's school until late, or what was the?
No, I think they did. I'm not quite sure on that, because since I've known them, they've been doing Khabib's father's wrestling. But I think maybe before that they weren't, when they were younger, and I could be wrong about that. They could have been doing both. But if I remember correctly, they chose kickboxing when they were younger.
And Usman is the youngest one, I believe, right? He's I think he's 23
yes.
year old. Yeah.
22, or if he's turned 23, he just turned 23, because he was 22 when I knew him.
Yeah, and he now at Bellator. Is there a reason he signed with Bellator, not UFC?
I don't know. It could very well be that Bellator gave him a great offer. It's one of those deals where he still has a lot of growing to do. He still has a lot of mental maturing and physical too. So he's got a ways to go. He's a great potential. He's one of the best I've ever trained. And the physical fit ability. Ability wise, not the best I've ever trained, but he's got the physical attributes of the best I've ever trained. But he still doesn't have the mental yet, like a Khabib or Islam or Umar. That's an area that he needs work on and maturing. He just needs to mature more, and he's on track. I mean, he's 12-0 for a reason. He's very good.
And it seems to be very well mentored, right? I'm pretty sure UFC might be even interested in him, but Khabib and his team probably not pushing him too hard to fight in the organization yet. Is it fair to say?
It might be. I never talked to him about it. I just went, well, okay, you're in Bellator, great. You got a good deal. Great organization Bellator is, and Bellator pays really well. They take care of their guys. I mean, they have Fedor, for God's sake. They have a lot of stars there, and you saw Michael Chandler. Yeah. He comes in and he was with Bellator, and he comes in one fight, and all of a sudden he's fighting for the title. And then you have a lot of these guys that got cut from the UFC, and now they're fighting on Bellator, and now it appears, and I believe it is 100%. In my mind, it is that Bellator has the best light heavyweight division now because of the acquisition of some of the people that the UFC cut, and now Bellator has gained momentum on that division. I believe, and I don't believe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and Usman is fighting in lightweight, I believe, right? 155.
Correct. Yeah, correct. He's a lightweight. Correct.
And the reason why we're seeing him his stand up doesn't really mean that he can't wrestle, right? I'm pretty sure his grappling is pretty high level.
It's high level. His opponent was a very good wrestler, and you saw what happened there. So he did take him down a couple times. He got up real quick, and then he failed the other times he tried to take him down. So if he weren't high level, trust me, he wouldn't have been able to get up. No, Usman's level wrestling is very proficient, and like I said, he just needs more maturing, more fights, and more mental mental strength work, and you're going to see another star real soon.
And Umar has definitely similar style. He's a little bit lighter at the weight class. I think he's bottom weight.
He's a bantamweight, yeah. And the difference between Umar and Usman is night and day. Umar doesn't really need any of the maturing. He doesn't need any of the mental. He has it all. He just needs to work more on certain strikings and certain defensive things. But Umar's the total package. I expect him to be the UFC champion within another 4 or 5 fights. I really do. I believe I'm going to be correct on that. You will see the bantamweight champion of UFC in Umar.
Wow,
definitely 100%.
That's very good. Isn't it too soon? 3, 5, 6
fights? 4 to 5 fights. 4 or 5 fights. Years? I mean, yeah, you got to remember he's already, you know, he's 13-0. I believe he's 13-0 already, or 14-0. I mean, he's got a good record. Yeah, so you know, he doesn't have too many more fights. I mean, think about it, when I'm talking about 4 or 5 fights, by the time that he's 17-0, I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be undefeated. So, you know, he'll be fighting for that title. He has it all. He has it all. He just a little bit more fight experience, and he'll be ready to go. He'll be ready to go.
He fought, I think, in January the last time. Do you know if there any another fight is scheduled, or it's Ramadan and they're not scheduling anything yet?
Yeah, Ramadan is right now going on. I don't know what's going on with him. He just had surgery too on his knee, so there's going to be some time off. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen with him yet, but I don't expect him to be fighting until probably late summer.
Yeah, and let's talk about Abubakar. And I believe you guys call him Manap, right?
Manap, yeah. I call him like Dagestan gangster.
he definitely looks and acts like. And from my observation, his style is somewhere in between Khabib's and Umar's and Usman's. Am I missing something?
No, you're correct. You're correct. What he has is he's developed. We've been working for a while on developing his stand-up and his mentality and the hesitation, because he hesitates, and he's working on that. He's arriving at that point where he's getting really comfortable and confident, and he proved that in his last fight. Yeah. He had some really slick moves, and a lot of people that weren't paying attention should pay attention how well he was moving it, how well he was countering, and how well he was using his striking. He's been working on that for a while. He's good everywhere. I mean, the whole Eagle family, they're all developing into well-rounded MMA fighters. They're not just ground guys. They're everything. Every one of those guys. Khabib himself was working on that too. But Khabib, out of all of them, was the one that was the latest bloomer on that. He was more on the ground, and he didn't really like training with anybody but me on the stand-up. So I didn't get to meet Khabib as much. So because he wasn't around, you know, so he'd be 1 month at a time, then 2 months, and then he'd go back home. So I didn't get to train with him as much. All the other guys would train with other coaches. Khabib really only trained with me. So that's one of the reasons why his progression wasn't as you know, high as everybody else's.
You became such a good friend with this entire family, and I see you when you are in Abu Dhabi. I think you're part of the entire Abu Dhabi society, right? People treat you like a royalty there.
I wouldn't say they treat me like royalty, but they treat me with a lot of respect, and I met a lot of friends over there. You know, it's incredible. You know, Dubai is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, safest, cleanest, you know, city I've ever seen. And I met a lot of great friends over there. And the Prince has really taken really good care of us at the NAS training facility. You know, we trained. That's where we trained all our fight camps with his personal gym. And you know, we stayed at the Maidan Hotel, which is another one of their properties. And you know, they really took care of us really well. And look forward to going back again. I feel like family when I go to Dubai, you know. And then Abu Dhabi, of course, we have the UAE Warriors with Fahd Darwish and you know, his boss. You know, they did a fantastic job. So yeah, there's a lot of people that we met over there that they treat us like family. Yeah,
that's great. Let's talk about Islam Makhachev. He seems to be on people have been overlooking him for quite a long time, and I guess they did it on purpose because they clearly see that he's really good and they try to avoid fighting him.
That's correct. That's correct. They have been overlooking him. They've been avoiding him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
For that's the obvious, very 100% fact is they've been avoiding him because he's that good. His ranking was not that high, so the risk for the reward was not good. And then yeah, but the problem is now what are you going to do with him? The UFC is starting to build him, so you're going to have to fight him. So let's look at 1 or 2 more fights. And you'll be seeing him fight for a title, and you're going to see him be crowned the next champ at the lightweight from Team Khabib. He's gonna win that title. I really believe that. I believe he's the best right now, and he just has to get that opportunity. And his next opponent is going to get the same kind of a beating that his last opponent got.
That was an insane submission. I've never seen that kind of submission. I didn't realize that he's in the process of submitting Drew.
We got to remember he was the current Sambo world champion 2 times back-to-back. So I mean, Islam Makhachev's got everything. He's got defense, he's got offense, he's got striking, he's got wrestling, he's got jiu-jitsu, he's got Sambo. He's got game planning. He listens well. He's got discipline. He's the total package. He's big for a lightweight. You name it, he's got it. The guy. Great technique, great everything. Now, I really, really believe he will actually be, there's going to be 2 champions in the UFC, and it's going to be Umar at bantamweight, and it's going to be Islam at lightweight, and then there's more Islam type fighters coming from Team Khabib. He has quite a few. They have made me the head coach for the team, so I'm obviously I know a lot of those guys, and they're incredible. They're all incredible. Father had a great thing going on with those guys.
So another thing that I've noticed that Islam again is English. He's speaking much better and he's more confident, and he started trash talking a little bit. That's
yeah. He's really funny too. They're all funny. All of those guys are really funny. Khabib is hilarious. I get him in a lot of skits where I do a lot of Instagram posts with him and Manap, his cousin Abubakar. He's funny as hell. All those three guys are incredibly funny. I get him in so many situations, and sometimes I plan it, sometimes I don't plan it. It just comes out that way. But they're hilarious. They're hilarious.
So now, as Khabib retired, he's more of the assistant coach to you, right? When it comes to his cousins.
He says that I'm the assistant coach, and I'm supposed to be the head coach, but in all reality, he's the coach. I mean, I'm the boss, but he's the coach because. It really is. They're follow his lead, and it's always going to be that way. I may always be the head coach, but they're always going to follow Khabib, and rightfully so. He's got their best interests at heart, and he takes care of all of them, and that's the way it should be. It's done correctly, and I'm in no way going to step in and do anything to jeopardize the bondness that those guys have. In no way. I'll take the position as the head coach, even though I'm not really the head coach. That's okay. I'll take it.
What made these guys so special? Is it the training that they start very early in life, or is it maybe correct training, or just mentality in general?
All of it. It's training early in life, correct training, the bond that they have, the care that they have, their culture, their religion. All of that combined is why they are as strong as they are. It's their family. They really are family, and those guys hang out together. They go to each other's houses. They take care of each other. They got each other's backs. I mean, no, they're legit. They're as close as family as you can get.
When is the next time you're going back to Dagestan?
I don't know about when I'm going to Dagestan. I want to go back. I love Dagestan, but we're going to train here for the next camp. And then I think I think we're going to be going to this year. These are the places I think we're going to go to. We're going to go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi. I believe we're going to go as California, of course, here. And then I think maybe Russia. I'm not quite sure when, but I think all those are going to happen. So that means Dagestan is in the picture, yes. And Uzbekistan, I believe Uzbekistan too is probably in the picture. Any one of those is going to happen because remember, team, Khabib has his own promotion called Eagles Fighting Championship, EFC.
Yeah.
So they fight about once or twice a month. I believe once a month or maybe more. And so they're traveling everywhere to fight. So I will be there at one point with the team when they throw one of their events.
And this Eagle Fighting Championship, it's something new, right? Was it Gorilla that was renamed after
Yes.
Eagles? Okay.
Yes, it was Gorilla Fighting Championship. So, and they had a good following. But Khabib was the driving force behind that. And I guess he bought it. I read, he didn't tell me, but I read that he paid $1 million to buy it, and so he bought it, and now it's Eagle Fighting Championship. I think it's a great name. EFC, Eagles Fighting Championships. It sounds
it
goes
like
perfect.
UFC. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's unique because it's not like trying to be like UFC, because it's Eagle, it's Eagle Fighting Championship. So it's okay.
And you said you work with some of his students out there. Who would you name some of the very prospective students who we might see in the major organizations one day?
Well, Tagir, he's in the UFC too. I fought him. I mean, I trained him. Zubaira too. I trained him. Mavlid, who fought in the PFL. Mavlid, I trained him. I can't pronounce the last names, but those are three other ones. And then Islam Mamedov.
Yeah. Oh, he trains at AKA, I believe, right?
Yeah, I've been training him for a while. So those are all my boys. And there's a few other ones, quite a few actually. I've trained quite a few of them, but those in particular are my responsibilities.
Let's get back to UFC lightweight. You mentioned that Michael Chandler will be fighting for title with Oliveira. Who do you have on that fight?
I don't really know. It's hard. It's a hard one to pick. That could be Chandler. It could be Oliveira. I don't really know. They're both really good. I just look at, to be honest with you, I look at this. I look at Oliveira's. I look at Chandler. I look at Conor. I look at Dustin Poirier. I look at Justin Geathje. I look at all those guys. Any one of those guys could be interchangeable. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. I believe Islam Makhachev beats them all.
Interesting. Who do you think he would be facing for the title?
Islam?
Yeah.
Well, when he gets there, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea, because after the winner of Chandler versus Oliveira's, they're going to fight the winner of Dustin versus Conor, and I don't know who's going to win there either. I mean, yeah, sure, we'd like to say, oh yeah, it's going to be Dustin because he figured out Conor, the low calf kick and this and that. But Conor is a very smart guy. He's going to figure it out, and I'm sure he's not going to go and give him that same opportunity. But another thing too, in my opinion, is Dustin felt his power, and he knew he could take it. He took it well, and that's when he turned on the heat. So it may very well be another. It's definitely going to be a different situation as far as the fight goes. But I don't know who's going to win, to be honest with you. I just know that it can be any one of those, and I believe Islam Makhachev can beat them all.
Outside of your fighters and at UFC, who do you watch closely, and who do you think is just amazing?
I loved Israel Adesanya, and I still think he's amazing. But obviously, from the last fight, he definitely showed he has weaknesses on the ground. I still love the guy. I think he's great. Kamaru Usman, he trained with us for 1 whole month, and I was in awe of how good he was. And I told my friend, well, I was on the phone with my friend, and I said, you know what? I said, I was with him for a whole month. He trained with us in Vegas, off and on. He was there, and I watched him hit the pads. I watched him sparring, and he was impressive as hell. I said, dude, this guy is way better than the last guy. So I'm expecting he's going to do the stand-up with, he's going to stand with Masvidal more. He's going to stand, and if it doesn't work, he's going to go back to what he can do, take him down. But he's going to stand. I'm telling you, he's gotten a lot better, and look what happens, There was times there when it was kind of crazy, where he got a little wild, and if George could have capitalized on it, then it could have been bad. But he regained his composure, and he went in, and he did what he needed to do. He's a true champion inside and out. I have a lot of respect for Kamaru. I talked to him on numerous occasions, not like we're not like friends or nothing like that, but I have spoken to the guy. I really like him a lot. And he's a gentleman, and he appears to be a good father, good family guy, very respectful of his opponents, and he trains very hard. And I have a lot of respect for him, and I'm very happy for his success. And let's be honest too, you know, George Masvidal. I mean, you got to give him, man, that guy. He calls a spade a spade. You know, it is what it is. You know, he's pretty straightforward. I have a lot of respect for him as a true warrior, true fighter, and really enjoyable to watch. You know, he didn't make excuses. He just say, hey, man, you know, I focused too much on the wrestling because I thought that's what he was going to do. And by all rights, you would think, okay, yeah, last time, you know, you were piecing him up on the stand-up. His probably corners telling him, so you better work on the wrestling, you know. But the mistake was not anticipating that if you didn't watch his last fight, you should have, because that jab was incredible. And, you know, he's showing improvement in his stand-up. And, you know, he's got good coaches from Henry Hooft when he was with, you know, the Sanford guys. And now he's got, you know, the new coach there, Trevor Whitman, who's a really good coach too. You know, so he's had two good coaches. And most important, you know, you can have the best coaches in the world, but if you're not a diamond like he is, the coaches ain't going to have anything. They're going to turn you into nothing. You have to be able to be a diamond in order to be able to shine like that. And he's a diamond. And he just happened to have two good polishers that help him along the way.
I'm going to ask you some clickbait question. And fight would never happen even if Khabib was active. They both under the same management. They are very good friends. But skill-wise, when you look at Khabib and Usman, how do you think the fight would go?
I don't know. I just, you know, because Khabib doesn't fight at 170. It had to be 155, and Usman would kill himself to make 155. So Khabib would smash him only because he wouldn't be able to make it. Because I just don't vision Khabib being in a bigger than 155, because he's always implemented that he'll never be a bigger than 155. So in my mind, even though he's 170, I could go Khabib, no, because I just can't think of him as heavier than 155.
No, that's a great answer, and thank you. Coach, I don't want to take much of your time. I wanted to thank you again for being on the podcast, and thank you for catapulting this channel, and thank you for all your help.
No problem.